Hello, this is Mo. I work with the people seeking asylum, and I've been working with the Many Hands, One Heart from the start. And we're doing this mic drop podcast today. I've got Adrian, who's a member of the Many Hands, One Heart here, and I just basically wanted to ask you, Adrian, a few questions, because I've known you for 2 years. And when I met you 2 years ago, and the picture I've got in my mind about 2 years ago and what you are now today, if I hadn't seen you during these 2 years, I would walk past you in the street, I wouldn't recognize you because you've changed so much. And also, I found out that you actually were studying to become a priest, and you left El Salvador on one occasion, went to Spain to see the Pope, and now you're so, if you don't mind me saying, so outrageously gay.
I am.
I just wanted to actually see a little bit, ask you about that journey that you had. I know that you're atheist. Are you atheist, or you just don't believe in God, or?
Oh, well, that's a really, really, really long story. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Mo. Well, yeah. I think life is a journey to everyone, but my journey has been like a little bit interesting because it's not been like a straight journey. It's been like sometimes like in a train, sometimes like on bike, sometimes like walking. So sometimes on hard weights. But like you say, it's really interesting to start to talk about that transformation, because everybody came on the same symphony. My sexuality, my beliefs, and everything. And like you said, in 2011, when I met the Pope, I was a totally different guy. I was like a super Christian guy, Catholic. I was starting to be a priest.
So you're not religious now?
No, not now. Not
You
now.
don't believe in God?
I do believe in God. I believe in Britney as my only savior. So yeah.
Oh, so I mean, the thing about the Brittany, that's what interests me as well, because sometimes you go on about her quite a lot.
Like a lot.
Is that it? Can you just say that if that's sort of a religion for you? No.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what's your definition of religions. Could be something spiritual for me. I think it's more spiritual, that connection that I have with her music. Yeah, so I would say something more spiritual than religious.
When did you come out? And did you come out to your friends in El Salvador?
Yeah, it was in 2011.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh yeah, it was really interesting. Well, basically, in 2011, I was studying in the university, and I joined to the theater group. Because inside, usually when you are gay, you have that inside, even if outside you try to project other things. So even if outside I was looking like straight looking, like a nice boy, Catholic boy, inside I was that outrageous queen. And I joined to the theater group to canalize all that energy, because the theater group allows you to play with anything, and basically you go with that mind that you don't need to judge people. So basically I became best friends with the people of the theater group. And the guy who's now my best friend, he told me one time that he was gay, and I just answered, "Oh, nice. I respect that, but I'm heterosexual. I'm Catholic, and I respect that from you." But
have you had ever relationship with a woman, or just have you had a girlfriend?
me? Yeah. In the past, yeah. They call it in school. Well, the thing is, after some time, I was having a relationship with a man in Spain, a cyber relationship, that kind of old-fashioned relationships on the internet, using messengers, video chat, and all that kind of stuff. So one day I just basically got a picture of him on my phone, and I showed him, this is my my fella. And he was like, and I told him this is just for you. I told him this is just for you. And he was like, oh, because we were in a meeting, we were in there, he just straight away say, oh, look at his boyfriend. I was like, oh, sugar. So basically I didn't came out. He pulled me out of the closet.
What I mean, obviously I don't know about your dad, but what about your mother? Did you come out, did you tell your family, your mom and sister and brother, did you tell them that you're homosexual?
Oh, well, that's a kind of interesting story. It's long. It's a long story to tell about how was my family situation, but it was like a natural situation. Basically, my mother she's in United States since I was 15, and all my life from there, I raised up my brother and my sister. I was the person in charge.
How old are they? Or how many years are you older than them?
My brother is 3 years younger, and my sister is 7 years older, I think so.
Oh, so,
Yeah, she was a baby. Not now, but yeah, at that time, yeah. So when she left, I was the person in charge of the house, and I think the relationship with my brother and my sister I always been like a mom from them. From stuff to cooking their food, helping them to washing the clothes or stuff like that. So even when they were in the hospital, I was taking care of them in the hospital.
What's wrong with them, if you don't want me asking?
Sorry?
What is the illness? Why were they in?
Oh, no, regular illness, sometimes
anything,
appendicitis, stuff like your children's illness.
I see.
Yeah. But sometimes your children, and also my country, sometimes you got like stuff like dengue and weird virus from mosquitoes.
You were telling me about your mom. So your mom was away. She never was close to you, was she?
Yeah, she was. I mean, she was like there economically, but also with clothes, but not. It's not the same. The closest thing we had to a mom was my grandmother, but she was like also dealing with. She had leukemia, so she was dealing with that, and. Yeah, that's the closest thing we had to a mom, but still not the same. But the thing is, with my brother and my sister, I remember they asked me, but like that, and I say yeah, and we're like, we knew, and that was all the conversation. They never asked anything else. They just say we knew, because of course they knew. And with my mom, I think they told my mom, but she never questioned.
She never challenged you or asked you.
No.
It's so. You went to study religion, Catholicism, in university, was it, or is it just in a priesthood or wherever? So you were going to be a priest, yeah?
Yes. Well, the thing is, there's the move on the Catholic Church. They start to train us when we were in school, high school. So it's called pre-seminary. So we started pre-seminary. Then we went to the seminary. And then you are a priest. So I started on the pre-seminary when I was 16, something like that.
So did you choose to go to the pre-seminary, or you just basically... So you chose to go there,
Yeah, part of that because I want to hide my sexuality and try to convert myself to the good way that I thought in that moment.
So you had this sort of like, maybe apart from hiding it, you just had this thing that, this is not right. I should correct myself. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. The society teach you you're sick or you're a sinner and you should correct yourself. So yeah, no, basically, yeah, I try to use that like a therapy conversion, if I could say.
Okay, and so did you come out? Did you in the church or in the seminary? Did you actually tell people? Or did they know, or what was it like?
It was a process.
Did they kick you out? Sorry,
no. I quit. I quit. I'm not sure if I should tell the story because it's a little bit not safe for work. But basically, there was the thing with my seminary. It was. Itinerary, sometimes you can travel to other places if they need you, they can tell you, you know what, you're going to Australia to study 6 months there because we need people there to go outside also and tell your story or stuff like that. And that's how I went to see the pub, because they sent me to see the pub. But in one moment, one fella from Italy came, and he was gay, of course. And
in Spain.
No, that was in El Salvador.
El Salvador.
One fella from Italy came to my country, and we were roommates. So basically, he started to try to play with me, and in one moment it was too much for me to say, you know what, I can't, it's too much temptation for me. So I quit. I never say I quit because this fella is trying to have something with me. I just say, you know what, this is not my thing, so I'll give up of this.
As I said, through my work, I have met a lot of, I'm from Iran, as you know, and I met some gay people from Iran that's basically they had to, they couldn't look, they had to basically live like a heterosexual life. And I remember one of them, when he came here, I took him to one of the organizations that deals with the gay people, LGBT plus people here. And when a gay person there, English gay person, turned around and said, "But you don't look gay." But he said, well, the reason I don't look gay is because I had to look something else back home in my country. Was that the case with you as well? Because, as I said, you've changed so much. Your hair color is blonde now. You have long hair. You've got sometimes you wear makeup. Obviously, your nails are done and all sort of thing. As I said, when I met you, you weren't like that at all. You just look totally different. Do you think that the reason that you look different then is because the society pushed you to look like that?
Yeah, of course. And I always say, internally, in my feelings, in my heart, I always been a guy with a long blonde hair, but I was never allowed to be like that in my country. And sometimes I try to get that off me, having blonde hair but short. And the times that I allow myself to be myself is the time when I suffer more. That was the time I was beaten by the police. That was the time when people came to me to attack me or insult me or harass me on the street. So it's like my life in El Salvador was like a cycle, and like allowing me to be myself, to feel free, to release weight from my back, but then switch back in some moments to the regular guy, and that regular guy that not suffer a lot of discrimination. And when I feel I need to set free again, dye my hair or change my appearance, but again that carried me like.
Were you financially supporting your brother and sister as well? So you were working.
Yes.
What was it like going to work?
It was a call center. A call center has a different. In that sense, the call center was a total, because they have like a mentality from United States, so it's a little bit liberal. They don't care about that. So there's people who went there dressed like hardcore metal guys. There's other people who don't give a and they went like in shorts or in pajamas. So they don't care as far as you're going to do your job.
I'm interested as well about your journey coming to UK. Before coming to UK, obviously the first question I've got is, why did you choose UK? But also, what did you expect? What did you think UK is going to be like? What England was going to be like, or obviously you have some sort of image. What sort of image you had, and why did you choose it?
Well, honestly, when I started to suffer a lot of discrimination, I just read a news regards to asylum seekers but in the United States, and I started to think about my situation in El Salvador, if my situation and my reality applies to seek asylum in outside from my country. In that moment I was not thinking in a specific country, so just putting myself on that scenario, and I made the conclusion that yeah, basically, because I also see myself in the future, and I put myself in the situation like to become the person that I am right now, this guy with the blonde hair, and say, you know what? If I'm going out of the country and claim asylum, I can finally be myself. So I Googled that, how to claim asylum for sexuality, and actually the first page that I saw was from the UK.
I see.
So it's like I didn't choose that because I was watching all the options, but because there was a website for LGBT asylum seekers when explain all the process and all the stuff you need to bring in that there. So it was like, okay, so it seems like in the United Kingdom there's people who help LGBT asylum seekers. I think I have a pretty strong case for all the stuff that I suffer in my country, and also I still suffering in that moment. Because before I came here to the UK, I was with my blonde hair. But even to left my country, I bleached my hair black
I see.
to avoid problems on the airport or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so what image you had about UK in your head before you coming here? What did you think UK is going to be like for you? Apart from, let's not talk about asylum. What was, like people say, the weather, and people say Benny Hill, or just stuff. What was Bristol for you before coming here?
Honestly, the first thing I thought was boys. There will be so many handsome fellas, tall guys with beard, blue eyes, and I said, oh my God.
So that's why you didn't go to Spain.
No, in Spain there are also
Latin countries, I mean.
No, but in Spain there's also guys like that.
Is it? Okay. So it was one of the things about Britain. Yeah, I'm not talking about asylum. Was you just thought you like blondes?
I like
blue eyes, man.
Well, I also like guys with black hair. But what I'm trying to say more, it was the acceptance of have a relationship in public.
Okay. Yes.
More than a guy, a boy toy, is more like the situation to be allowed to have something I never had. I'm 28 and I never received a gift from a boyfriend. I never received flowers. I never received chocolates from a man. And I'm 28 and I never been out with my boyfriend. I never been able to go outside and holding hands with someone else. So in that moment I was 26, I think so, and I still didn't. I still 2 years after I still don't get.
But we're hoping you're gonna have that sort of.
Yes, like something that I should be allowed to have regularly. Something that it's not a crime. It's just love someone else. And
what was the first impression you got when you got here?
When I came here to England, it's like everything was meant to be. Everything since I came here. When I went out to the plane and I was in Heathrow, I didn't have Wi-Fi connection or anything, so I can't look the way to go to my hotel in London. And I don't have any idea what face I had in that moment. But a tall guy with blonde beard and blue eyes just came to me and he said, "Are you okay?" I was like, I have no idea where I'm going. I need to go to this hotel and my phone is not picking the Wi-Fi or anything. I just look at the paper and say, "Oh, you know what? I'm coming close to that place. You can come with me."
Oh.
You have an oyster? He said, "Yeah," because I already bought the oyster there. Yes, I said, "So come with me." So he helped me with my backpack and everything. And yeah, he took me to the hotel room, but he was like so handsome. And I was like, I belong to this place.
So you had a good experience then.
Yes.
So you've been here 2 years now. and obviously I know about your case, and you have had some difficulties there. Has it changed your impression? What are the things that you sort of like thought it was good about here, but it's not, or it's not as what you expected? Or so what's one of the things that you actually didn't expect and it's happened, and you just think, oh, this is better or this is worse? We are going through a very, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's a transition in UK. There's been lots of things, with the Brexit and, all different things politically, economically, and all that sort of thing. And I personally, I've been here for 30 years, and I will say, the country that 20 years ago, with 10 years ago, till now, has changed quite a lot. So what was these 2 years? What has changed, in your opinion, about the UK? Yeah.
Well, honestly, uh, my heart is like divided on that sense because my experience is unbelievable and I just love this country and I feel so grateful to be here. But part of that is because I'm here in Liverpool and Liverpool is like a city really open with migrants. There's always the people.
You haven't experienced any racism?
No, people actually, it's the opposite. They thought I'm fabulous and they're like, sometimes I'm walking on the streets and people just come to me and say, oh my God, I love your hair. Oh my God, you look gorgeous. And I'm like,
lovely.
Thank you.
Where about in Liverpool did you go?
Here in town, yeah. Just yesterday I was walking with Sasha here by St. John's and a girl just came and just, oh my God, I love your hair. I was like, thank you. Basically Liverpool is, now with Brexit and all that stuff, I realize Liverpool is like a sanctuary in England for migration and all the point of views and culture. And like I said, my heart is divided in the sense of I have so many friends, also asylum seekers, that they probably black or they Arabic, and they suffered racist because they live in other places. Or even I met one girl, she was transgender, she was put in a town and people from town started to bully her because she doesn't look like that pretty transgender, like it's feminine, she looks a little bit masculine and it's like, what are you? Are you a boy or a girl? What you look like? You weirdo, stuff like that. And in my experience,
it's been quite
at least being here in Liverpool it's been like a big
Have you got a lot of British friends, English friends here?
Well, last year I started to meet more British people. I started to play Pokemon Go, and in that game in some point of the game you need to meet more people to catch some Pokemons. So I joined to a WhatsApp group of people who play on Sefton Park. So usually people do meetings and stuff like that on Sefton Park. And I feel quite happy because people in the past, before I joined the group, they just went there, play, and they go out, but they never socialize to each other. So I went there and it was like I break the ice with everyone. And we made a group of friends, so we go out. Even I feel happy because last year on my birthday, they came with me with a lot of cupcakes because I love Britney, and they took me also for a meal. I was like, oh my God, that was so nice because I have been 2 years without having something on my birthday, on the proper day. So some people remember other days, but in the proper day. I never had a birthday surprise until last year. They came to me and they made me a celebration. Yeah, they know my situation because one thing I always say is I don't want to pretend who I'm not. So I say from the beginning, I'm a asylum seeker. I survive with 30 quids a week.
Is that what you get? You get 30?
Actually, I don't get money. I get...
Why is that?
Because my case was dismissed. So when we reapply for the submission, basically what the Home Office grant me is it's called food voucher, but it's like they deposit some money on a card, so I can use it to do grocery and pay in some places. But I cannot withdraw money. I just can't pay
Yeah.
with the card in some places because it's restrict. I can't pay, for example, in a bar and stuff like that. It's because they track that and they have blocked some business. Yeah, so but I can go, for example.
So really, with what you get, as a, let's say, as a gay person seeking asylum, you wouldn't be able to go to gay bars or gay clubs, or to, you know, to make to find any friends from the gay community, because you cannot afford to do that. Can you?
No, honestly, no, and that's why I struggled almost 2 years without meeting people, because I didn't find a way to meet that people, because I can't go out. And when I started to play Pokemon, it's like I started to play for myself. I never thought I would meet people. That was eventually with time, but
So that was your savior.
yeah.
Pikachu saved you.
Yes, kind of that. Because it's a free game.
Yeah,
you know.
and obviously it's good that you have this social network
Yes,
as well. So
yes.
Let's say that, you know, obviously you appealed about your case now, and let's hope that you're gonna get accepted. What are your plans? And one of the things I know about you, you've got so many abilities, you've got so many skills. You can sing, you can dance, you can basically work with the computers, you're very good with the people, everything, you know. So, and obviously, you know, you have had 1 degree or 2 degrees, university degrees.
University too.
2 degrees. So you've got a lot of potentials if you get accepted. You know, I just want to know where you're going to see yourself in 5 years' time, put in consideration that let's hope that you're going to get accepted.
Selling out arenas.
Sorry?
Selling out arenas. On my gigs.
No, well, that is like a dream. But what I'm saying,
it's more realistic than you think. Actually, we are in 2020. You know, this is not shade, but we are in 2020, and it's not difficult to be famous. And actually, I'm working not so hard, not in being famous. I'm working so hard in produce my own music. If I became famous or anything, that's other business. But I'm focusing right now on my music, and I never thought that, you know, it's unbelievable how that dream started to become bigger, and I can't believe how much people support that. Honestly, because I know I sing terrible. I mean, I have a terrible voice, but a lot of people say, no, you're super great on a stage, which I agree. I mean, I know I'm a good performer, but not a good singer. And when I start to be involved in this stuff with some meeting people, some of they started to say, you know what, I will have a course of this and to produce music. You want to join? And I was like, okay. And that's when I started to learn FL Studio, which is software to create music. Basically, you don't need to have, for example, a guitar to fake the guitar on the program. So you just put the chords you want the guitar to play and the software, and they play it straight away. That also happened with battery, keyboard, and everything. So yeah, you don't need to have a big studio to create of that. You just create that on the computer. And now I'm gonna start a songwriting course, which is something I'm really looking forward, because English is my not native language. So I really need that, in the sense of the course is not gonna give me the ideas to write the song. It's gonna give me how a song works in terms of rhythm and stuff, which is something I really need. And yeah, it's unbelievable how all the people have faith in me, and they encourage me, and they say, you know what, you're great and you can do whatever you want. And honestly, studying marketing and studying all that stuff, I've seen so many successful singers when you don't need even to sign up with a record label. You just love your stuff to
YouTube or whatever.
To Spotify, something like that. You go to a radio station and say, I have this song, you want to play it? And people can get engaged immediately.
Agent, when you get famous, just don't forget me, all right?
If
you need an agent or manager, Just remember me.
I won't forget you. Don't trust me.
And I think you just mentioned about the social media, and to be honest with you, it's like a lot of people sort of like, because of YouTube and Twitter and all that sort of thing, they look into how many followers they're gonna have, or and they're making money, and they are looking for fame, that sort of thing. Do you ever think that that is something that your message in regard to your life and what's something you can actually perform, put it there? Because I was just listening the other day about someone on the YouTube. He went and basically started talking about his feelings and his journey. 48 minutes, and he put it on the YouTube, and the next day he was famous because like loads of people went and saw that, and they start engaging with him. Also, do you think that is something that it's easier for people from other countries to actually perform and tell people about it?
Well, it depends. Like you said, any message is different. There's people who like to be entertained on social media. There's people who like fake lives, and it's totally fine if you like to see someone else who pretends to be rich, who pretends to have a fabulous life. As far as it's just for entertainment, I think it's fine. But there's other people like me. Like I want to share my real life.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I want to share that it's okay if sometimes you are depressed. It's okay if sometimes you're horny. It's okay if sometimes you're happy and you're euphorious. I mean, because we are all humans, and there's a massive blame outside of any feelings. People can blame you to feel depressed. People will tell you you're weak, or if I go to therapy, and people usually think, how the hell you're going to therapy? You look strong. Yes, I look strong because I take care of that. And it's okay to feel depressed sometimes. It's okay to feel broken. There's also people that blame people for feeling anxiety. You don't know how many times I feel anxiety, which is totally different to depression. That anxiety for so many stuff happens regarding to my case. And
most of the people seeking asylum, they have that sort of...
I know, and there's also a massive blame to be happy. There's people who say, why are you sharing you're happy? We don't care about that. And there's also, no matter what you're sharing on social media, people always will come after you. So I think my message is, and I think this was my first speech when I came to Many Hands One Heart, and I remember, for me, life is like a rainbow. You need to see all the colors to see the full picture. Sometimes light will be red, sometimes light will be green, sometimes light could be even gray. But all that colors together made the rainbow, and that's the whole picture that is beautiful. And that's the important thing in life. Not just focus on one color. That's what I try to share with my art, and I think that's why people really engage with it. And that's when I think about why people support my dreams, is because I became to the conclusion it's not because I'm a great singer or a huge performer. It's because the message I send, they engage with that. They engage with the message that music could be to lift you up. They engage the message that music could make you thoughtful, or could be a protest, could be something that you use to release your feelings. And in that term, when I perform different songs and different styles, and I always try to perform, and people get engaged with that. There's some moments when I'm on the stage I'm on the stage jumping and stuff like that, and people is like, oh my God, I'm jumping with you. There's other moments when I'm more quiet and people is like thinking about that moment. So that message, more that that feeling on the performance or in the song, is, I think, what is making people engage with my dreams.
Just one last question I've got. And what do you miss about your country? Do you miss your country? Apart from I think your brother still is in there, isn't he? Apart from the, friends, what is the thing about your country that you really miss?
My country is England.
Okay. So you don't really have that's a very that's another way to look at your, like, because when I came out of Iran, I was like, still, I'm Iranian, and I'm Iranian.
I'm British.
It's sort of like, I became more homesick. And the more homesick I became, the more, I was more like sort of recluse and didn't want to mix with the people. I lived in Greece. I didn't have any friends, Greek friends, all that sort of thing. And that did, in the end, it's sort of like I thought it did me more harm than good. So I think, this expression that, when you're in Rome, do what the Romans do, it sort of like stayed with me. And when I went to Spain, I tried to learn their culture, the music, the language, the food and everything else. And the same thing when I came to Britain. But I never lost my identity. I still feel Iranian, but British Iranian, didn't I mean?
Yeah.
But I think what you've done it's quite understandable. Anyway, thanks very much, for this chat. I really enjoyed it.